buckets over the weekend, 5-gallon buckets, and from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was able to do about 6 of them yesterday, and then I picked up 6 more last night from Monday's shift. We're having some issues with the rice, but we're going to troubleshoot that today, and hopefully we can figure out how to make it all work.
And look at how much gas you've generated.
Yes. Lots.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's a lot of biogas.
So restaurants in the future can take their food waste and then use the gas for cooking.
Let's prove first to our viewers that it is in fact biogas, not just air in that mattress. You hold that. We'll open this up. Uh-oh. If I can get this thing off to do my proof. Uh-oh, can you pull on that? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh!
Ooh.
Here, see that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's, you're convinced? Everybody's convinced, right?
Clean gas.
Woo-wee. Yes, indeed. All right, well, that's biogas. Love that. It'd be great for cooking on the barbecue and but this is what makes that beautiful biogas, all the you bring with such diligence. So let's open them on up. And you don't get any of this. You'd like it, wouldn't you? You're just in pee in here. You're peeing, aren't you? Yeah. And then you guys are a bunch of butt heads. Actually, butting heads. So you are butt heads. Okay, butt heads. Alrighty. Well, there's that messy slop. Okay, that's a good candidate for grinding. That's a good candidate for grinding.
I don't know if underneath it's all rice.
All rice?
Though. Yeah, so I've been using that shovel over there to kind of sort through. But
all right, let's open up the incinerator land. Here, this bucket here, the handle came out.
Well, I have some extra.
Okay. Do we have water? Yes, we do. Alrighty. Gloves are just hands. Gloves are wet.
Yeah, I've been using this one because it fits me a little better. I can't really do anything with the other ones, but...
You have two?
Just the one, but I'm really only using one hand
True.
anyway.
This, by the way, should always be placed here so we don't lose it, because I couldn't find it the other day. Alrighty. Alright, well, since I'm holding the camera, I'll stand back and let you start, and then I'll do more. Gosh, we got a lot of buckets here.
Well, I am free until 6 p.m. So.
Oh my gosh. Let's get that chicken on. I think about a half a bucket at a time in here also doesn't overwhelm it, right?
I've been trying to move a little more slowly.
I just turned on the...
See, that looks like it's mostly rice underneath there.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, because you can just dump that rice. This stuff has to be down. And are we in a bucket? No, we're not even in a bucket.
Oh, you took the handles off of this one?
It's coming off, yes, we should use this. We'll wash that bucket out. I love how it never smells. Aren't you amazed at like all this food waste down here on the ground? And no smell, no flies, no roaches, nothing. But just grinding itself makes a big impact. Huge impact on that. That's what everyone likes to see in the morning is food waste being ground up. Yep. I always wait till you see a good vortex form and then put more in. That's how you keep it solvent. Some of that has to do with the amount of water going in. You can vary the amount of water from time to time. So now there's no vortex. That means we have to wait. And now there's a vortex. It's really about just timing it and letting that vortex create. Now there's a vortex. Check it out here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, oh, it's spilling glue. Oh, there we go. But as I said, once it's ground, there's no smell, there's no vermin, no roaches, no rats, no nothing. So it doesn't matter if it spills down here. It just turns into beautiful soil, which we can mine later. That's probably heavy enough. You want to go feed it now, right? I mean, don't make it too heavy.
Did you check them from yesterday? They were pretty
Pretty full.
pretty I don't know if I just couldn't push it down.
Well, see, if you've ground it, you don't have to push it down in the Dragon.
I dumped most of the ones I did yesterday in the Dragon.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. Oh, that one there is way full.
That's how it was yesterday, and this one was overflowing with water.
Okay, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, that means it's making gas like crazy, and that's because I'm full. You know what? Can you hold this for a second? That's what I want to do.
This is
I don't know if this has any holes in it, but since we are making so much gas now, thanks to you, we can see if this will fill. And I'll just put this on the ground here. It's got a lot of water in it for sure. And I'll take this, because this one's new. Close this. Oh, if it doesn't, no, it won't close because I used this. This will no longer close. Okay, that's not good. That means I can't. How am I going to fill this then? How am I going to do it? I need another one of those black things, the black plugs, which went to a water filter. Otherwise, I can't get in this. Okay. Hold on a second. I have a bag at the house. Let me go get the bag at the house, and you can continue doing some grinding.
Okay.
All right. Our solar panels. Oh, the life of an off-gridder. When you're off-grid. The things you did to get off-grid. In a desperate bid to keep the world safe with no quid pro quo. Alrighty. Now, somewhere by this biodigester, I have a biogas bag. There it is. And it may have a leak in it for all I know, but we tried to seal that possible leak there. Alrighty. We'll bring this one here. I gotta push this down. This one is filling this inner tube. Slowly but surely, but I think there's a little leak there too. So you never know until you do the soap test. And then you know. The beehives. The school bus that is going to be turned into a mobile classroom. The solar pavilion. The solar carport. It was nice to have these lights on when they were playing basketball the other night. At night, powered by the sun. The windmill that never turns. It was turning the other day, but doesn't turn enough because of the trees in the location. Not the right design for this low wind condition. These Air 403s belong on the coast. So let's see. If we flop this down here and hope it does not leak.
That was I think a little it's going down.
Right, here you go. Hold this if you will. And so here I'll just turn this off here if I can get this off now. Oh boy. Don't know if I can. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe what I can do is come directly out of the source. All these little adapters cause me trouble. This was made for a larger tube, and that tube no, that won't work. Comes out of here. Could do this, but that's not going to come out easily. Well, what should I do? What should I do? I know what to do. Go like this. I'll just go like this. There we go. Put that in there. Now that works. Okay. Problem solved. Open this up. You can hear it. So assuming there's no leaks in this, this will fill up with gas in no time.
All right.
All right, we'll get some gas there. So you were looking at this over here?
I plunged it a little and it went down a tiny bit.
Where's that plunger?
Right
Oh,
here.
this one.
But I was using that shovel because it's easier for me.
Sure. Yeah, there's a big clog down there. Right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at that. I just needed some muscles.
Yeah.
Now we're in business.
Yep. And that's where you should really fill it too.
Each time I've been here alone, though, it's already been like to the top. So I think that.
And for all the feeding that we're doing, I'm seeing precious little gas. Oh, something went wrong here. Somebody cut this up. Oh, my temperature probe's got
Oh, this is.
cut. Yeah, temperature probes got cut when they were doing, probably when they were doing the weeding. Well, we don't know what the temperature is then. But this has some gas in it. I'm not sure what the problem is.
Ooh, look at all those crickets.
Yeah, crickets, it's like, I'm trying to stay safe from the sun. What are you doing? I was trying to hide from the sun. Come on. So there might be a slight leak here, which may account for why, despite all the feeding, we're not getting a whole lot of biogas. Yeah, see how loose this is?
Mm-hmm.
Could be this needs to be tightened. Maybe. This is not very tight. So we've had problems with these bags before in terms of little micro leaks around the edges here. Because really, it should. I mean, we know we got gas. It's
Plenty of
producing-
fuel.
No, because even if I pull this, oh, you hear that water though?
Mm-hmm.
That water means that there's
God.
That's not lighting yet. There it
There
goes.
we go.
And now, yeah, see now it stays lit. And I can prove it by lighting fires. All up.
One bucket on Friday morning, and then I think you dumped the rest on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, some of it's still got a ways
Yeah,
to go.
right
over
here.
But if today is Tuesday and it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, yeah, as I say, 3 to 6 days, generally when you grind up food waste, it turns right into soil. So you can just dump your food waste as it's ground up right into your garden. And if you don't like the look of it, this was uncovered. It ends up looking like that, like a little bit of vomity thing, but it doesn't smell, doesn't attract flies. The chickens ignore it when they come out here and peck. But you can cover up with grass or brush if you don't want to look at it. Either way, it's going to turn into soil in 3 to 6 days. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah. I think the problem here is because this is buried, the water doesn't go through the P-trap. Like on this one here, gas comes over and goes down to this water trap, right? Even so, this isn't filling as much as I'd like. Yeah, good fire, huh? Ouch. Yeah, so they're making gas.
Okay.
They are making gas. So it's always a question of some little leak somewhere in the hose line. And whenever you see that, when you're not feeding and it's doing that, it means it's making gas, so it's pushing the excess water out. But we should be getting a lot
Yep,
of that
it's
gas.
already starting to fill.
Yeah, now that's assuming that it hasn't gotten clogged by water, which happens from time to time. So same thing if I do this here. Oh, see all that? Oh, look at that. Okay, that's messy. So yeah, water in the lines and other stuff. Yeah, it lights. Now it's burning at the same time as it's spitting out. Look at, oh, I just set things on fire. Fun, Scarecrow. Yeah. So yeah, all that. It doesn't smell. Doesn't smell.
Yep.
So yeah, I think, I'm not sure, like, why are we getting so much liquidy food waste kind of stuff up in where the gas is? It must be so full now, it's sort of churning in there and just spitting up all this stuff. It's not settling to the bottom.
Right.
But that's an interesting observation in and of itself. And something we should account for in the design. We know it's working because that thing's full. Oh, so we got that down. Let me just wash my hands. Now we were looking at something like this. I just want to see our plunging potential. That's going to feed the dragon there, but as for stuff that's not ground, again, no qualms if it's been ground up. No qualms there. But we're going to overfeed now. So there's definitely a plot, there's a plug of unground food down there. So what happens also, because it's the winter time, that condensate, right? So the water that's in those lines is because every night the vapor condenses, the water vapor, and just clogs up the lines. Yeah. The only thing is I don't want to get this caught because it's hard to get out. So I'm using a plunging motion. And a lot of the reason we're not getting a lot of gas over here is because it isn't going down the throat. So it's sitting in the throat fermenting, but not getting all the way into the body of the digester.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's helping. I mean, it looks like a dirty job if you're watching out there in video land, but there's no smell. So it's not horrible.
Mm-mm. Even the food, when it's sealed, it doesn't smell for a few days.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the amount, I'd love to be able to dump the whole bucket in, but then we can't get
There might
the
be
thing
some
plunged.
plastic.
Oh yeah. No, that's tissue paper.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
Use this big steel one here. Be careful, solar roof though. well, now it's formed a big old plug. There ain't nothing coming up. Probably what we have to do to make this successful is we got to get the plug that's down there going.
I feel like it's been there for days.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't been able to push anything down.
Sometimes if you put a hose down and through it.
Because I was just putting a little bit, using the shovel right here and just scooping like 1 scoop of rice at a time, and I still couldn't get anything to go down.
Yeah. Because ideally you would start to see the effluent come up on the other side.
If it was full.
Yeah. Which it is. Yep, it's right at the top. Right at the top. I mean, what we have at Fat Meat Farm is the ideal because it's a big grinder that goes into a macerating pump and just pumps it and jets it down in already ground. Whereas this manual stuff is not as...
So the technology is out there for larger, like if they wanted to put one in a restaurant.
Oh yeah, then you just do the pump. Fat Meat Farm is our shining example, but you got to put the money into that. You know. There we go. See how it's bubbling over there? Well, it was bubbling out.
Yep.
So it's freed up now. Now it's just about the floaties. And this is why we made, these used to be the feeding area right here. And it was vertical like the dragon neck, but everything just kept floating back up. So we sealed this up, drilled in, chiseled in, and put it on an angle. It's because this is what's going to happen if you don't grind the food waste. You get all these floaties. And the floaties make it hard. So.
I wanted to ask you, we use the bioplastic straws from Eco Products. They're 100% compostable. Can those go in here? Well, I did the research. I did the research on the company and read their whole page, and they actually say that you can put them in the compost bins. They're a sustainability company.
It's interesting because a lot of the UK university did a study that's just been put on social media showing that the stuff only breaks down in industrial composting facilities at 50 degrees Celsius.
So those can't go in here?
I don't know. If one would have to do the test. So you might throw one in a little pile of compost and see how long it takes.
Okay. Maybe I'll get Chloe involved since she has a bin at home that's been working for some time.
Yeah. I think that would be great. All right, let's get some more stuff in here. I think for the time being, the Dragon is, because I don't have an adapter for the other mattress, we probably don't need to feed the Dragon today. I got to use this gas up. So, let's see if we can just, wow, this is all rice anyway. All right, that little Dragon will get some.
Just be careful because there might be some plastic in there.
Little Dragon.
If it comes from the kitchen, there shouldn't be, but if it's anything that the servers are putting in there, they're not as careful.
Yeah, that's definitely just rice. And see, that's gonna form a big old plug unless I push it down.
That's the problem I've been running into, is that if I put just the rice in there, I haven't been able to push it down.
Yeah. You need some muscle behind this. I wonder if this is all the learning.
I was talking to one of my coworkers last night, and he said maybe there's a certain food that we can put in the rice to let it kind of degrade on its own before we put it in.
Right.
And he mentioned that, and it seems like a possibility.
Well, probably mixing is better because the rice will clump if there's no other stuff with it. So probably this idea of just rice creates this.
Right.
And that's not easy to deal with. And people can get tired of doing this every day.
Yeah.
So the rice is probably, yeah, it's going down okay now.
So as long as we go
As
slow.
long as there's water. Well, I'm thinking now, this gave me an idea. Let's do this. We got a lot of bins to deal with. Okay, so here's another rice bin. So this will make it much easier, and then there should be no problem. And we will. Start here.
And then put water in it
Yep.
to let it sit, kind of.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This is going to be our new procedure.
Okay.
It's ruining your 12-year-olds who love to play with water.
Just to kind of break the rice apart.
Yeah.
And then we can just shovel that in.
Yeah, where's that shovel?
Right over there. You want me to hold that?
I mean, this is new for us because apart from the times when we were bringing stuff up during Ramadan and from Beef O'Brady's, it's usually just a bucket or two a day. Now, you got to work on a whole new procedure. And that means gloves and aprons and
I'll get some more aprons.
yeah.
I had that one up here. I don't know where it is. Thank you, Luis, for the idea of mixing it with something else to break it apart.
Yep.
I think that this will work.
I think it will.
And
It's just
then
been about
it'll
the
be,
muscle.
well, I
you
could
gotta-
even just shovel it. I don't
It
mind.
takes a long time though. Maybe.
And then at that point, if there is any plastic or something that should be ground, I can easily take it out. Look at that.
Yeah, it all kind of goes down.
Perfect. Yes.
And then it doesn't cause that clog.
Beautiful.
Here's another one.
You can see it bubbling up because it's actually going down finally.
Of course, this creamy stuff doesn't need to be ground.
Mashed potatoes and rice.
Yeah. Woohoo!
So like the peas and stuff like that, that's fine.
Yeah, well, they're pea-sized. Yeah.
I'd be concerned if peas weren't pea sized.
Exactly.
All right. This I can handle.
Right. So I think
So like the potatoes and the yuca and the
They-
plantains.
they should technically be ground, but as I'm saying, these digesters we intended not to do much grinding. And so the only thing is, yeah, you'll need really two people to do this.
I mean, or like I said, it'll take longer, but I could scoop even in the bucket.
Yes, you could. Yes, you can do this. This works.
Yeah,
Your shoes are gonna get ruined.
I've already ruined 2 pairs. I've been bringing my old work shoes,
Yeah.
so that's been helpful.
But isn't it helpful to think through, like, what if you were running a business doing this? Apart from-
Troubleshooting, yes.
I mean, you can try to get people who don't have much of an educational background at the lowest possible wage and exploit them. Or you could find a way to maximize the efficiency using a combination of different machines. You could use different incentives, co-ownership, people being able to take the fertilizer home, people being able to take the gas home. There's a lot of different models besides exploitation of the working class and automation. But it has to be thought through, because if society is going to solve this problem, it ain't the lack of the technology to turn the food waste into something of value. The biota just turn it into fuel and fertilizer.
Right.
Grinding it means that you can turn it into fuel and fertilizer in 24 hours. It's who's going to do the work.
Right. And in turn, I mean, we're eliminating a big portion of the greenhouse gas emissions.
Right. Which unfortunately, most people who actually put in the labor time aren't going to be as concerned with. A lot of armchair philosophers are going to care. They may get out for a social march to protest. They might write a lot on social media.
It's an added bonus, though.
An added bonus that we definitely have to factor in. We have to find a way to make those climate gains translate into something tangible for the actual person who will feel exploited by the so-called undignified work.
Well, and one of those things alone in restaurants with the amount of food waste is to use the gas to cook with later.
Yeah, well that is the goal, the dream, and that's why what we're doing at Fat Meat Farm is so important. I wasn't supposed to do that. I got lazy.
Why don't I give it a try?
All right. I wiped my hands on my pants. Okay.
I want to make sure that I can do it before the end of the day.
I still love how these water plants have taken to the exposed slurry and choked out any possibility of mosquitoes. I think that's sort of perpetual fuel source, but it doesn't grow that fast, so it's not like you can feed a digester on just the plants that are growing here. It's going down well.
Yeah. I think we found our solution.
Mm-hmm. I knew those 27-gallon totes were a gold mine. Now in combination with 5-gallon buckets, it all makes sense.
I don't see us being able to use bigger containers in the workplace just because of
Yeah.
the process and the different locations of having the buckets. I have one right now on the saute line, one in the back where they do all the paella and the slow roasting. I have one in the pantry area where they deal with salads and desserts. I have one behind the bar, and then a few by the server station where we come in with the dirty dishes. I have like 3 set up there. So,
Oh wow, so you've really got everybody trained.
big operation.
And they'll probably photos and the videos that you send connecting them to the effort.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, now, are you able to lift that up when it's down to there?
We will.
Pour it in the bucket
Yeah.
at this point. So it kind of begs the question of transport space and weight, because if you were to pre-fill the buckets with water and rice, then you wouldn't have to go through this, but then again you'd get fewer buckets in your car and it could slosh around. So
Yeah, I feel like this is the best
all right, let's do another one.
as of right now. And I learned to bring a change of clothes.
Yeah.
Yesterday I had to go and get a change of clothes to go to class.
Given that we have a pig, we should also go talk to Marianne about whether or not Paula can eat any of this slop, you know, because most people would be giving their food slop to their pigs, and this guy does not eat this food slop. I'll bet he'd love it. She'd love it. So we should keep in mind that this guy can only take 10 buckets a day.
Okay.
How many have we put in?
1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 because we did the grinding one,
Mhm.
3.5.
Yeah, just keeping them by is the best way to know. Ooh,
Just gotta be careful.
nitrile gloves. And those we can't do much with.
Obviously, with a big running restaurant that gets busy, it's hard to completely eliminate the plastic and paper that gets in there, but as long as there's like mussels and clamshells in here. So
But it's okay. I mean, this should technically be ground, but
well,
that
I can
amount's not going to hurt it.
Like if
Yeah.
I can bring a pair of those gloves to reuse.
I would bring the thicker gloves. Those are one use, and then nitrile, we're not putting it in the plastic to oil machine because we're afraid it might create cyanide because of the nitrogen.
Right. So like this stuff, with the water, it kind of floats. I can just
Yep. Yeah, that's a good idea.
pull
The big stuff.
right, the lemons and the chicken.
That's good.
Did you turn that off?
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't get too obsessive about it.
do my best.
Yeah.
What about the bread once it's all soggy like that?
It's fine. Yeah, the bread, soggy bread, just basically decomposes, so I don't see any need to grind up soggy bread. Those starches will break down really quickly.
But the potatoes probably grind.
Yeah, they're not going to fall apart really quickly. If you're feeding the dragon. If you're feeding these, we're not depending on these for the everyday gas. We depend on the dragon. I mean, they're all dragons, but that one's overtly a dragon. These are hidden dragons.
So this isn't so bad. What I was trying to do before was so much harder. This, I think we can manage.
Yeah.
Because before I was here for like 2 hours and could barely even do 6 buckets.
Right. Well, you're at almost, you're 2 minutes shy of 40 minutes, and we've already done a bunch of buckets.
1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 buckets, but also filming.
Yes, and filming.
It's timelier. And I feel like I can just keep going in here and then at the end,
Yeah.
dump it. But some of those buckets right there have to be ground.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, is if you do the rice first, then you're picking out the chicken and you're picking out the mussels and a few rinds, then you can take them to grind to feed the dragon at the end.
Right. Also, we're not going to have this many every day. It's just from the weekend haul, since I can't come up here on Saturday and Sunday morning, since I have to work. But
oh, we got a nice comment. Can't see who it's from, but it said, "Nice work, Earth people." Thank you for that.
yes.
Thank you. It's always encouraging to be encouraged. Yeah, why don't you grab that rice one there. So we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 more buckets. Okay. That means I should get off my camera and I should start feeding, or we'll never get done.
Yeah, I feel like. What do we think?
Yeah, it's okay for now. I mean, don't worry about it. Put it down this guy, but we'll have to really plunge it down because it ain't gonna slip down.
Okay.
I'll start. I will stop filming now, and I will start grinding and feeding so we can get this done. Thank you for those of you who are watching. Thank you for your encouragement. This is the Rosebud Continuum Sustainability Education Center, where we work on real world solutions, life test them, and then get them out to you so we can make a big difference and make this country great. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. and say hi to Sonny, who owns this property and is the visionary behind it. Say hi, Sonny.
Hello.
He's
I can't figure out how to open a gate.
Sonny's not camera shy. He was an NFL superstar at the Houston Oilers and now runs Bishop Construction Company and made this property into what it is, the leading light for America and abroad, and of course, hopefully, since it's the Rosebud Continuum, for the reservations like Rosebud out in South Dakota where Sonny was born. So, hey, I was going to ask you, Sonny, we've got all this food waste now. You met Taylor, right?
Hello.
No.
Taylor's the one I was mentioning, works for the Gonsmart family for the restaurants. And Sonny's met the Gonsmarts years ago.
Oh, okay.
I might get in there and eat some of that food that came from there.
That's how I'm going to ask, right?
Do you know who these people are?
Yes, this is Life Academy, the
I just
handicapped.
I didn't see somebody watching them.
I think Diego's there.
Okay. As long as
Yeah.
somebody's watching.
Yeah.
Is that him
Yeah,
over
in the
there?
blue.
Baseball cap?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I was just looking at my office. I was doing some work and I looked out there and saw the kids playing. And I didn't see a bus or anything. So
Oh, that's right. Where's the bus? Because Life Academy usually has a bus. I was going to ask you, should we be feeding any of the food scraps now that we have a reliable supply, thanks to Taylor, to Paula the pig?
do what?
Should we be feeding any food scraps to Paula? I mean,
No,
pig's
I
gonna eat
don't
them.
think she. I don't even know how she eats.
Yeah.
Marianne puts a little grain in there for it, which has a lot of nutrition in it. But I don't know. We'll ask Marianne if
We've
she
got
would.
plenty of grain.
Okay.
Rice, potatoes.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got people, Graham from Birmingham, England, telling us we're doing great things there. Thank you, Graham. And Robert Hayes just got a disposal unit at a thrift store. He's watching. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Glad to see that we are in fact sharing with a global community that's ever growing. So speaking of grinding, I guess my job now is to get back in here and grind this stuff up in our 1 horsepower and Syncrator. And those of you who are using disposals, please know that if it gets sloppy like this, which it will, that's okay, because it doesn't attract flies or cockroaches or rats or vermin or even the chickens. When it's ground up, most animals lose all interest. Whereas when it's like this, the chickens will land on it, the roaches will come, the flies will come. But somehow grinding it, probably because of the rapid oxidation, because it's an aerobic process here, for some reason and maybe it's a pH thing, it's also the breakdown of the sulfur compounds, the sulfates and the sulfides and the mercaptans and the phenols and all those other big molecules that would indicate to vermin that there's something to eat, that there's energy and nutrition there. When it's ground up, it doesn't have that interest for them. And so this just ends up turning into soil. And this was all sand, because this is Florida. You can see the sand over here. But down here where we've been spilling on a daily level all that ground up food, it's turned into beautiful black rich soil. So it's a great way to build soil. Just let your stuff spill out. And we do that sometimes. We just take a bucket of slop after it's ground and just pour it on the garden, and it turns into a nice soil in 3 to 6 days. So it's much better than composting. But if you put it in a compost bin, you'll get the thermophilic reaction. You can heat water with it and do all sorts of great stuff and break down wood faster. So grinding up food waste is really your first step, your first line of defense. You should grind if you can, but that does take time. So as you see, we grind for this digester, and for the other 2 digesters, we don't grind. And certainly mashed potatoes and rice do not need to be ground. They're already pre-ground. The peas don't need to be ground. So you make a judicious decision of what to grind and what not to grind. And the nice thing about having several digesters is we can put the ground food in one and do semi-ground food in another and unground food in the other. And Sonny was contributing grass clippings and leaves and stuff as well, which can also be put in with it. All righty. Thank you, folks. Please do try this at home. All righty. He was a linebacker.
No.
No? What were you then?
Offensive guard.
Oh, offensive guard. Well, offensive anyway. He's tougher than OJ the Bull. Okay. Yep.
Honestly, too, a week ago I would have been so disgusted, and now I'm sticking my hands all in there, and it doesn't even matter because I see it as not like gross trash. It's actually fuel now.
Yeah, fuel and fertilizer.
It's amazing how
you
your
pour it in there?
mentality can change.
What we're
like
doing,
that.
yeah, is to keep it from clogging. We're pouring it in there. We're mixing with water, and then because
Oh,
otherwise it.
I shoved that down with it.
Yep. Hey, how you doing?
How are you? Do you need help?
We do. Hey, that would be great, guys. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're taking. Hi, good to see you again. How you been?
Doing good.
Doing good. Saw you playing some basketball, some hoops over there.
And the taxi drivers and my new job coach starts with me today.
Oh, fantastic! Congratulations.
She does a red truck though.
Oh, red truck.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Cool.
She called my cabs too.
Okay.
I started the phone number. She called Friendly Taxi app.
Wow, a taxi-friendly app.
That's the first time that
That you're hearing about that. Well, that's great. Hi, good to see you.
Life in
From
the
TH.
Ms. Amber's at Life still.
Yes, yes. I'm glad that all of you at the Life School are still coming out.
So what?
Okay, so here's the thing. So buckets like this
Oh yeah.
or this with big stuff, the one that has chicken in it,
Yes.
that one, that needs to be ground up. That one with the citrus. But stuff that has a lot of rice like that, we're bringing over and we're putting it in a larger bucket. We're watering it with water to make it break apart, and then we're feeding the digester.
Okay, so what we can do is bring this.
If somebody wants to start grinding, that would be cool.
Yeah, I can. So this one you can bring the ones that have rice over there, right?
Yeah, the ones that have rice get brought over there.
I do that, please. Okay, and there you have another.
Have rice in it, James?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. Yeah, some of them are mostly rice with a little bit of other stuff. Some of them have heavier stuff that needs to go into the grinder and then into that black bucket over
You
there.
wanna see how I grind it?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, check out how he grinds it. And you know what we do?
Do you want to grab one?
That one you can grab it.
Yeah, I think. Oh, that should go to the grinding. I think.
Yeah, then come here with the.
Yep.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? We need a bucket.
Oh, we need a bucket. Is there an empty one? The pink one has a problem with the lid. So I'm gonna move this. Here's a black one we can use. Let me hand you this one. Here you go. And put that. And I know it looks all messy, but it's not a problem.
So we can put like this.
Yeah, put that like that.
You wanna put this here?
Turn on the water to a trickle in the beginning, just a trickle, not too much in the beginning, and pour about a quarter of the bucket in, and turn on the grinder. Okay, whoops. Yep. Now pour it in there. All right, but you need to move it away so it doesn't. I use my hand. And also, I'm live on I'm live. Okay, here's what you do. Why don't can you hold the camera?
Yeah.
And just so here's
It's
what
so
I do.
blurry.
Okay.
What Jerry told you.
It's so blurry.
Oh, your hand's in the way there. So
Like
there you go.
this.
How's that? Is that good? Yeah. Let
Want
me.
me to do it?
Let's see. He tried to do a good job of it. Let me just see what we got going here. There's something. Camera got zoomed in for some reason. There we go. There. Okay. So you can put your hand up to your here, but no lower.
Okay.
Just be careful. And what I do is I wait till there's a vortex.
Okay. And that's gonna be.
Only when there's a vortex I start introducing other stuff.
I got you.
Right? So now there's a vortex. So you put it in slow enough. Like there's no vortex. It's in here. Now there's a vortex. No vortex. Now there's a vortex. That's how you keep it from clogging, right?
Okay.
Otherwise it'll get overwhelmed.
I got you.
Wait for the vortex to form. There's a vortex. Put the other stuff in. When you hear that slur, 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 that's the vortex. If you see plastic in, remove the plastic. Alright? You're safe here, right? But don't go down like that.
Okay.
As long as, but never have your fingers straight. If you go like this, as long as your thumb is here and your knuckles are here,
Okay.
you see this ring here? That's safe. So as long as you're within that ring,
I got you.
don't have anybody else do that. They might put their hands
Yeah,
down.
that's why I
Yeah.
told them not to.
But we should turn off the water for a second, turn off the thing. Full, and this one you bring up to feed the dragon.
Okay.
Let me grab this from you.
Yeah.
So you'll want to grab that and feed when it's not too full, because otherwise it'll be too heavy. And so you can let that spill out, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Feed the dragon.
Well, this is my idea, my project, so I'm really just trying to get some hands set up right now.
Well, you got all of life school with you now.
We are working.
We are working.
This is so much better. We are making a lot of progress compared to yesterday, so I'm really happy that we figured out a solution.
Beautiful. Okay.
Otherwise, Mr. Dean now doing.
Mr. Bean, yeah.
Mr. Dean
Yeah, they're calling my name Mr. Dino.
Mr. Dino.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so you guys, this biodigester, the Dragon, as you know, takes ground up food only. Not a vertical neck, and otherwise food would float up. The necks are on an angle, so we can put unground food in the other digesters. And what's coming out this side is fertilizer, which is what makes your garden grow. So we turn the food waste into that beautiful liquid that's raining down over there, capture that over there in those tanks, and then that makes the food grow. So we turn food waste back into food, and we get energy. And that balloon, that mattress there, is filled with biogas right now. And in fact, I can show you that if you want to come down and video. I'll light the fire for you guys so you can see what you're making. Because it's always fun to see some fire. Come on over and let's look at the fire. Come on over, everybody.
Just take off all my.
So you see this mattress here, and you never want to do this alone. I'm the only one who gets to do this because I know the biogas, I know the dragon, it's tame. But what you do is, we use this in the cooking stove. Can you pull on this for me? Just pull really hard. Ready? Ooh, okay. Now watch.
Guys, back it up.
That.
Whoa.
You see the fire? Yes. There it is. See that?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that cool? You see it? Now I don't want to burn this out, but yes, it is. It is fire. All right. So there you have it. It's real.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, very cool.
This amount of biogas will let me cook for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, depending on the size of the flame I use. It'll run a generator for 45 minutes, and it'll run a biogas refrigerator for about 10 hours.
So it's similar to like human gas then, right?
It is fart gas.
Okay, gotcha.
It's natural gas. It's truly natural gas.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But in order to keep producing the gas and the fertilizer, we got to keep feeding the dragon, otherwise it won't fart. And then we just store it in these mattresses, and then we use it. And there's a hose here. It goes, this hose here takes the biogas and it goes all the way underground to the RVs back there where we're able to cook on it and heat our bathing water.
Wow.
Yeah, just using a garden hose. So that's the way that we live with those solar panels and this biogas. We live off grid. And that's the only thing we don't run with it is air conditioning, because that takes too much energy. But everything else, able to run on biogas and solar.
Isn't that cool, everyone?
It really works. All right, let's see if we can get these things fed. Who's going to help bring these rice swings over? Come on over, let's get the rice over. If you see a bucket with rice, I think this one's mostly rice, so that can go over there.
I do that.
This one looks like it's mostly, that would work. Let's bring that one over. Those other ones need to be ground, but this one and I think this one here can go over there. Maybe this one. That stays to be grounded. That one, that one, that one, and that one would be grounded, and that one. So these three can be brought over, and that should be ground because it's got all sorts of grinds and lemons. Yeah, so that would be brought into the grinding station. But let's get these over to where Sonny, that goes to be the grinding station.
How about this one?
That one, hard to know. That goes where they are, to Sonny's place.
How about this, please?
You can bring that over there.
You want to feed the dragon? You want to
Yeah,
feed
that's
the
ready to
dragon?
feed the dragon. Why don't we go ahead and grab that and feed the dragon? That one there. So the rule is if it's ground up, it feeds the dragon. Although you know what? The dragon's pretty full right now, so let's feed that to the wishing well. That one can be brought over to them. Let's bring that over to the wishing well and feed this here. Not that one, but this one. Okay. Who wants to bring that in there?
Hi, Taylor. My hands are gross. I'll fed chicken.
Yeah, beautiful. So that goes down real nicely, doesn't it?
PH, do you
Yeah.
want me to just put this directly in? Or should we grind this?
I think there's mostly rice in there, and since it's bread, I think if you put it in there and put some water on it, it should be fine. If you can feed this one too with that water mixture of rice.
Okay.
We can definitely do that.
So far is
Can you dump this in that bucket over there?
Yeah. I think I can.
this is some bones and
Yeah, let's bring that over. I'll bring that over to the grinding
not a
station.
lot.
He'll work. What's your name?
Tom.
Tom. So Tom can help you with this and give me that. I'll bring it over. This one here. Okay.
All right, Tom. Let's do it. Got it?
Oh, thank you, Robert, for thanking me. Robert says thank you for your work. Dr. Culhane says blessings. Thank you for that. Yeah, we got to pull these out.
Okay, yeah. I was putting here.
Yeah, let me know. It's always, plastic always ruins things. You certainly don't want any single-use plastic in there. All right, well, there you have it. We're going on an hour now that we've been doing this. We should be done probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going much faster, right?
Way
And
faster.
we've learned some things today. We've learned that the rice clumps and clogs up the digesters, but if we pour it into a 27-gallon bucket, as Taylor's doing, and use some water, and then use the bucket to feed, then it's a lot easier. And we don't get the clogs. The ground up stuff, of course, goes down the dragon very well. And many hands make light work. We hope that you will work in your community and work with a lot of, particularly people, kids in schools and people who are underemployed and people who are bored, people who are looking for some meaning. Tackling the food waste problem is doable. It's something we can all get behind because we all make it. We're all responsible in some way for the food waste crisis. And of course, you're not going to be able to eat everything that you bring home. Certainly the parts of the food, the bones and the skins and the pits and things of that nature, the peels, you're not going to be able to eat anyway. So you don't have to feel guilty about that kind of food waste if you're turning it into fuel and fertilizer. If it's going to landfill, then it's causing major problems. It's using up valuable land. It's creating a breeding ground for vermin and disease, and it's releasing the third largest cause of greenhouse gases affecting our climate and our security. So tackling food waste is something that we all should get behind, and you can do it at home. You can get the home biogas system from homebiogas.com for about $700 with a stove. Sets up in an hour and a half in your backyard or your porch. and it'll take all your home food waste and turn it into fuel and fertilizer. So that's an option for you. You can build a Solar Cities IBC tank biodigester. The plans are open source. We open sourced it over 10 years ago when we developed it in Egypt, and now it's sort of become a standard for places. Everybody's got IBC tanks, so you can get those IBC tanks and make your own digester that way too. There's a lot of other options. Pusheen and other companies sell various size digesters, and you can be creative and make your own. If you have a larger property, you can build a concrete digester like this Pusheen Dragon here, the 10 cubic meter system. And there are container-sized biodigesters that you can get from companies like Pusheen and others. So any tank of water with 3 pipes in it, any tank at all, whether it's made of metal or leather or concrete or plastic, any tank with those 3 pipes, the feed pipe, the gas pipe, and the fertilizer pipe, can be a biodigester once you've inoculated it with the microbes that can be found in, including yours. Baby, do what I did and scrape your baby's, get washable diapers and scrape your baby's diaper contents into the tank, and then you'll start up a biodigester. In about 70% of the cases, there are about 30% of human beings who don't have methanogens, in which case you might have to go and get duck poo or goat poo or sheep poo or horse manure or cow manure or lake mud, pond muck. I've done that too, and that works because the methanogens are almost everywhere. So start a biodigester or a compost bin. And as I said here, if you can't do any of those things, get yourself a food grinder. Use the food grinder and give all those nutrients and energy to your wastewater treatment plant or your septic tank. That's fine too, because they're usually energy starved and nutrient starved. So grinding your food makes a huge difference if you're going to give it to your septic system or in improving it, not clogging it, it'll improve it, and to the wastewater treatment where they'll turn it into biogas and fertilizer, and they'll sell that, and then they'll make the money off of you. Or just grind it up and spread it in the garden like we've done. Just throw it right on the lawn, put some brush over it, put some grass clippings over it if you don't want to look at it. But in 3 to 6 days, it'll turn back into soil, even without a compost bin. So you can just pour it in a flower pot. So grinding food is really one of the big solutions here. Yeah, have fun with it, and let's get this food waste thing tackled. Report into us at Solar Cities Biogas Facebook group. Tell us what your progress is. We'd love to know, and thank you for joining us. As we say, we aren't professionals. We're just everyday citizens like you. So please do try this at home.